storm out the gates here in Denver, Colorado. And also,
and let's go ahead and actually talk about the weather. You saw Justin there in Denver. Of course, we've been mentioning that huge temperature swing with Aubrey. So Aubrey just has got the severe side that we're going to talk about in a second, but it has that winter side complete with these very cold temperatures, these gusty winds, the snow, of course, the wintry mix as well. So Aubrey has it all. Let's talk about it. Temperatures in the lower 20s there in Spearfish and Rapid City. You can see mostly sub across a good portion of North and South Dakota. Aberdeen still reporting 35 degrees. You're still our holdout. You can see that rain snow line here. It is starting to make its way farther to the east though, so we're eventually going to see all of that switching over to more of a winter weather mode. We've got a winter storm warning stretching from portions of Wyoming, western Minnesota, Fargo. You're included in that. Of course, winter storm watches and winter weather advisories as well. Let's put it into motion for you and see where this storm is going. We've got this, the Dakotas really just covered in this snow as we head through tonight into Friday morning. But wait, doesn't stop there. Now we're into Friday afternoon. It is still snowing, especially across eastern portions of North Dakota, western portions of Minnesota. Wait, it just keeps going. It's still snowing across North Dakota. Now we're spreading that a bit farther to the east, Minneapolis. Feet of snow possible there across portions of North Dakota and into Minnesota. So, you know, guys, I mentioned it. Aubrey has a little bit of it all, from the snow and the cold temperatures to that severe threat.
Indeed, and we'll be watching that threat a bit farther south as we get into the sort of the warmer side of things here for us. And one of the big culprits here, one of the big factors in getting some of these severe storms, cold front.
Cold front.
We could see it on the satellite.
It's clearly obvious. The cold front right here, if you're used to looking at these maps, is that little line of cloud that extends from, well, Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma. It's actually farther north than that, but it's along that front that we think later on, maybe probably early this afternoon, we will see some thunderstorms develop along it. Maybe we're trying to see a little bit of that, and some of those could be severe.
Yeah, that's right. That threat definitely exists, and you can see the zone. Anywhere you see the red showing up, that's where we have the best chance for seeing some of those severe storms. And there's going to be a window, Dr. Postel, as the storms sort of get going initially, we'll have a better shot for them to maybe produce some isolated tornadoes.
Yeah, that's the cold front. And watch it move into parts of eastern Oklahoma and areas nearby. For a few hours, as you were mentioning, some of those storms could remain discrete or isolated. Those would be the chance for, those would be the storms that have a chance for tornadoes. That probably window lasts a few hours before it evolves into a line of storms, we think, along that frontal zone, and damaging winds become the primary hazard later on tonight and overnight throughout the, probably till tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and that's the point to make, that we'll be watching these showers and storms through the overnight into the early part of the morning. So not sort of a afternoon, early evening done situation lingering for hours past that.
So the idea that we can have isolated cells and the tornado potential comes from looking at the wind profile in the atmosphere. Low-level winds this evening will be out of the south, pretty much say at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. But then as you go up in altitude, the winds increase and change direction a little bit. Now, they're doing so in just enough way that will allow some of these storms to remain out ahead of that front and potentially be tornadic for a few hours before the cold front moves through, and then changes the entire dynamic. And we'll be dealing more with that damaging wind threat probably through tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there you go. So these are the areas that we'll be watching for that isolated tornado threat. Again, in the initial phases of these storms getting going. Threes here for you: North Texas, central and eastern Oklahoma, and then you get into southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas also dealing with three. So 30% chance of a tornado.
Yeah, so really all hazards in play, and then again it continues long after dark, so be prepared for that for folks in Arkansas, Missouri, and areas nearby, maybe northeastern Texas as well.
Heed those warnings indeed. Felicia?
Thanks, guys. It's hard to believe, but 1 year ago today, Hurricane Michael made landfall in Mexico Beach. After months of struggle, one couple is finally getting their happy ending. That's coming up next. Now let's take a live look at Denver, Colorado. Look at that. You can really kind of see the snow blowing around, temperature sitting at 19 degrees, but feeling more like the single digits after being in the 80s yesterday. So a huge temperature swing thanks to Aubrey. More on that coming up after the break.
Listen what I say, oh. Come back and hey, oh. Look at what I say, oh. less I know, the more.
That's half the fun of a new house, seeing what people left behind in the attic.
Well, saving on homeowners insurance with Geico's help was pretty fun, too.
Oh, it's a tiny dancer.
They left a ton of stuff up here.
Well, enjoy your house.
Nope. No, thank you.
Geico could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
This is the Nutrisystem sale you don't want to miss.
Introducing the 2-for-1 sale. Get 2 months of food for the price of 1. It's like getting a month of food free. Enjoy your favorite foods made healthier. Perfectly balanced to put your body in fat-burning mode. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month.
I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds with Nutrisystem.
I lost 60 pounds with Nutrisystem.
Count, measure, meetings? Not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now. You'll get specially designed meals.
You get the right foods in the right portions, so you'll learn how to keep the weight off.
Plus 1 week of Fresh Start shakes with probiotics to shrink your belly free.
There's even a money-back guarantee.
This sale won't last. Get 2 months of food for the price of 1. Good on every plan until you reach your weight loss goals.
Call or go online right now.
Go online or call 877-669-FIT9 right now to get 2 for the price of 1 plus probiotic shakes free.
Sure, a resume is a great way to see someone's experience, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and their resume. Like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. It's no wonder Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Post your next job at Indeed.com/skills and try skill tests for free.
The Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved. Subaru establishes National Make a Dogs Day, helping hard-to-adopt dogs find homes.
Attention Roundup users. Are you an agricultural worker, farm worker, nursery worker, landscaper, or local highway worker or groundskeeper who has regularly used the weed killer Roundup? If so, have you ever developed cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? If you answered yes, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. In August of 2018, a jury ordered Monsanto, the makers of Roundup, to pay $289 million when a groundskeeper developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using Roundup. Agricultural workers, farm workers, nursery workers, landscapers, local highway workers, or groundskeepers who have regularly used the weed killer Roundup may be at risk for developing certain types of cancer. If you or a loved one developed cancer after using Roundup, you may be eligible for substantial financial compensation without going to court. Call the Negligence Network at 800-600-4113 for a free Roundup case evaluation. That's 800-600-4113. 800-600-4113.
Pushing your forecast even further with Emmy award-winning reporting.
This is the lowest level that you should be in.
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
No traffic lights or street lights in parts of California last night after PG&E cut power to hundreds of thousands of customers in an attempt to prevent wildfires. Police officers helped to direct traffic through darkened streets in Oakland near San Francisco. The outage is expected to last until later today. Gusts in Northern California could top 60 or even 70 miles per hour today. And of course, those power outages, a preventative measure by the main power company there in North and Central California. Let's do the power outage tracker right now. You can see up to 628,000, a little over than that. In fact, nearly 629,000 with the highest number of outages right now in Sonoma County. You can see where most of those outages are there around North Central California. That's also where we have critical fire danger, especially from Redding south into Sacramento. You can see that extreme fire danger there north of Los Angeles as well. So the fire conditions really dangerous with this particular weather pattern that we have. When you have these winds gusting around 25 miles per hour in Sacramento, you can really see that fire danger could go up as those fires spread quickly when you have these gusty winds like this.
Well, Mexico Beach's recovery from Hurricane Michael, that is moving forward, but it is a slow process.
Today marks the tragic anniversary of when the Category 5 storm made landfall here, and a year later, thousands of families still do not have homes.
Now, one of those families is Jack and Bella Sebastian. The couple lost their house in Mexico Beach. Determined to rebuild, the Sebastians have stayed at their property. Now, we first met them last year right after Michael and have been following their progress with our series, The Weather Channel Family to Family. After months of sleeping in their car, then in a tent, and later in a camper, the Sebastians are finally building their new house.
October marks the first anniversary of Hurricane Michael, and we are in the process of rebuilding. There's still quite a number of months to rebuild, quite a number of things to do.
The construction already started. As we get in progress with the house and everything, it's like the problems get smaller, so it's easier. You can see the light on the end of the tunnel now.
We are the first house. It's like a model house. Because of us, that's why all these other houses around here are going up. It does feel like no one wants to be the first and maybe get cheated or spend more than they have to.
This house gonna be very functional for us. Very easy to maintain. It's a beach house. My dream home? No. No. No, I'm gonna be honest about it.
What would a dream house look like?
A lot bigger.
I like to stay positive about the new house.
Yeah, people saying 2 years, people saying 5 years, but I want it to be thinking in my mind, then next year by this time will be being built. I guess that dream came true of seeing the house being built. I don't know, that was like November maybe? It happened. It was not easy. I'll never say it was easy process. I'm gonna come clean with this one. Come on.
I don't care. I got to the point I don't care.
Since you don't care.
You know what? All it takes is hire two guys with a spray paint.
Okay, listen.
What does it matter?
The house gonna be turquoise. Hopefully you can live with that choice.
You're never gonna win an argument against her, so I don't even bother.
As soon as possible, you got to make decisions. You have to stay here. It's depressing sometimes, but you got to make the best with what you got. God giving us now the rewards from the struggle that we went through after the storm. We so close to the water. Yeah, it's a possibility to happen again, but we love the location. And that's the price we have to pay with living on a beach.
I know it must have been a tough decision for them to decide to stay and rebuild because the risk is still there for another storm to come through.
But of course, you know, good outlook and a great point there. You really have to just decide that you're going to stay and make the best of it as you can.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Well, more to come here on Weather Center Live. Back in just a minute.
At Physicians Mutual, we know that planning for retirement can feel scary.
Heard you're retiring soon. My husband just retired. Figuring out how to stay covered was a real doozy.
Hey, look, Leonard's premiums are showing.
He doesn't even have a Medigap.
We're gonna say tomorrow. Anyways, we found Physicians Mutual. They made it really easy.
I'll give him a call.
Retire with confidence. We'll listen and find you the coverage you need.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, every day can begin with flakes. It's a reminder of your struggles with psoriasis. But what if your psoriasis symptoms didn't follow you around? That's why there's Illumia. With just 2 doses, a majority of people were clear or almost clear, and over time, even more people were clear or almost clear, all with dosing 4 times a year after 2 initial doses. Plus, Illumia was shown to have similar risks of infections compared to placebo.
Don't use if you're allergic to Illumia or any of its ingredients. Before starting treatment, your doctor should check for tuberculosis and infections. After checking, there is no need for routine lab monitoring unless your doctor advises it. Illumia may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or have symptoms, or if you plan to or have recently received a vaccine.
This could be your chance to leave your psoriasis symptoms behind. Ask your doctor for Illumia today for a clearer tomorrow.
What's up with Tammy?
She's in York mode, savoring dark chocolate and cool, refreshing peppermint.
Can someone hop on this call?
Me? Hi.
I'm not ready to lose my hair. Not now. But I never thought there was a real solution. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And I can get my treatment without leaving the couch. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
Sore muscles and joints have met their match with the new Freedom Compression Sleeves from Copperfit. Now with more compression that you can begin to feel the instant you put it on.
The second I put it on, it was just wow.
Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. I wear it everywhere.
An everyday wear copper-infused sleeve that feels good as it reduces swelling and relieves pain.
I can't remember the last time I was able to work a full day without knee pain.
It became my answer.
It's real simple. It works.
Available now at these fine stores.
During an emergency, a network becomes a critical line of communication, connecting first responders to technology and to each other. FirstNet is the only officially authorized, highly secure wireless network without throttling or the clutter of commercial traffic. Built with and for first responders. It's the help you need to help the people who need you.
Alexa, tell me about Neptune's Sorrow by Olivia Watson.
It's a masterstroke of heartache, brutality, and redemption.
The mist crept into the pivot hole beside her. David, what did you think of the book?
It's a masterstroke of heartache, brutality, and redemption.
You didn't read it, did you?
I didn't, but I will.
The Lexus NX, modern utility for modern obstacles.
Lease the 2020 NX 300 for $349 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel on the Massachusetts coast. We're in Plymouth. The surf is up. The wind has been howling all night and this morning, and it's going to continue. This is a long duration nor'easter, and we've got another storm out in the plains. Not rain, but snow. Let's check in with Chris Warren.
A dramatic change in seasons from the 70s to a couple of feet of snow in a matter of a couple of days. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren in Devil's Lake, North Dakota. The high plains are about to get clobbered by Winter Storm Aubrey.
Winter Storm Aubrey has certainly come to the Mile High City. I'm Justin Michaels in Denver, Colorado, where we're seeing sleet, we're seeing some freezing rain, we're seeing snow, and we're seeing temperatures in the mid-20s. Talk about a temperature swing over the last 24 hours. We'll talk about all of it coming up.
And there could be a dark side to Aubrey, and that is severe weather.
Where tornadoes could spin up and the timing on Weather Center Live, that's right now.
From fires in California to heavy snow in the plains to our nor'easter. They're off the East Coast. We've got pretty wild weather, and that stretches from coast to coast.
We certainly do. I'm meteorologist Felicia Combs alongside meteorologist Alex Wallace. Thanks for sticking with us. The National Weather Service says a potentially crippling blizzard is ahead for parts of the Dakotas. We'll detail here and go there live in just a minute.
First, though, we've got our coastal storm, and this thing's battering parts of the eastern seaboard, kicking up waves, winds as well. They're on the beaches along the coast from Delaware up to New Hampshire. Got a live look here at East Hampton, as well as Rockaway Beach there in New York. They're on the right side of the screen where the surf is kicking up. We've got the threat of both inland flooding and flash flooding. That's going to be coming in from heavy rain. That's going to be hammering parts of the New England coast. For what we've got right now, let's head to Felicia.
Thanks, Alex. So we've got quite a bit going on from coast to coast. Of course, we want to talk about the nor'easter battering portions of New England. Let's start out with that visible satellite because this is a pretty interesting system we've got going on here. So we had that frontal boundary that moved through the northeast earlier this week. Take a look at it. You can make that out here. Let's add another feature. How about that? We've got the circulation of that low pressure that you're seeing right there circled. And then we'll add a little bit more. We've got an area that seems to be of convergence with that low pressure. So we've got a lot going on with this system. You can see kind of that pocket of rain in that area of convergence that I just pointed out. The low pressure here well to the south and east of Massachusetts. And then the circulation, the flow around this low pressure system, moving this plume of rain onshore for hours. And this is a cold, dreary rain for places like Boston and Nantucket. But take a look. New York, 63 degrees, mostly sunny. We've got Scranton at 59. So you can see that rain shield going to begin to push its way farther inland as we head through the day today. But for now, just kind of getting into the Cape area in Massachusetts, portions of Boston, and there the eastern portions of Connecticut and Rhode Island covered in rain right now as well. Let's take a look at your currents. Look at this. This is just absolutely a battering rain with this wind. We're talking wind gusts at 52 miles per hour in Nantucket, 38 miles per hour on the sustained winds. That is near tropical storm force. And then Alex, heading a little bit farther to the west, Montauk gusts at 35 miles per hour. This is a really formidable storm that portions of the Northeast and New England are dealing with.
Yeah, you said it. They're really taking that beating there as this fierce nor'easter winds its way up here just off the coast. Our Mike Seidel is in Plymouth, Massachusetts, monitoring the wind and the waves.
It's the first nor'easter of the season here in southeastern Massachusetts, and this is what you typically see. Look at the waves crashing on the seawall here and the rocks at Plymouth Beach. Winds have been consistently blowing 25 to 30 miles an hour. We've had gusts up to 40 miles an hour, and you can see the seagulls fighting the wind. They've been trying to land on the seawall. They've been aborting the landings because of the gusty wind. Now the tide is going out. We've got another high tide tonight around 10:15, 10:30, and there is a coastal flood advisory. We could see some minor coastal flooding. The hardest hit area will be Nantucket. They're more exposed. They're farther out, closer to the storm. This nor'easter is a couple hundred miles southeast of the Cape, and it's going nowhere until the storm in the front in the plains, the snowstorm, kicks it out on Saturday. So in the meantime, this is what you get. Windswept rain, rainfall totals an inch, maybe 2+ inches. So far, though, today, it's been unimpressive. We've seen totals of a ½ an inch in 6 hours. That's not going to kick in much in the way of any kind of inland flooding. As far as Logan Airport goes, so far so good. There's been about 75 cancellations, just about all those, the regional air carrier, Cape Air. And football tonight over in Foxborough. Yep, the Patriots home hosting the New York Giants. It'll be rainy and breezy with temperatures in the mid-50s.
Well, there you go. And that certainly could maybe even the playing field there with the Pats and the Giants here with some of the wet and windy weather that they may deal with there. But yeah, it's going to be around for a while here because our storm system is going to be around for a while. Seeing the showers rotating their way on in. This is as we get towards this afternoon. You see spreading a little bit farther to the west. New York City enjoying nice conditions now, but there'll be some showers to move through here later today into tonight. Heading into your morning hours, still finding rain here around the Cape, Boston area as well. There'll be some showers for the rush hour time. And with that rain continuing to sort of rotate its way on in, at least through tomorrow morning, there is going to be that opportunity for some flash flooding. So where you see the green showing up, we got a good chunk of southeastern Connecticut into Rhode Island and eastern Massachusetts. There could be some flash flood issues. Now, picking up the story from there, this is now starting off on Friday morning. We're still seeing the showers rotate on by. There's our storm system, the center of the circulation. You notice it doesn't move a whole lot. This is by Friday late afternoon, still pretty much in the same spot. So again, that's why we're saying what you see is what you'll be getting here until we start to move into Saturday, when we finally get this thing to kick on off towards the east, and we will start to see things improving here across a good chunk of the east coast, northeast coast. Rainfall amounts yet to come. Light amounts here as you work your way off towards the west, up to an inch in the lighter shade of that green. Once you get into the darker shades, though, 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inches will be possible. Better chance for that will be right around the Cape. Otherwise, wind, big high to the north, and that's helping to keep this thing from moving out. But also, between that high and our storm system, that pressure gradient sets up, and that's going to translate into some of those strong and gusty winds that we're already seeing. Wind gusts getting up over 40 miles per hour in some of these areas. Felicia?
Well, Alex, that's one of the storms we're talking about, but on to our other top story, and that's Winter Storm Aubrey. Billings, Montana picking up a record 5.6 inches of snow from the storm, but pockets of 10 inches of snow were reported just outside the city. The snow blamed for a rash of fender benders, including a police car that slid into the back of a pickup truck, so we can really see those roads getting slick very quickly. Heading to Denver now, where you saw a huge temperature swing. It's sitting at 19 degrees. It's feeling like the single digits. Now, I will tell you, nice, peaceful, pretty picture here of the snow falling. You can see some people out there shoveling, but it is cold, and that is a huge difference from what they were seeing just say 24 hours ago. Now to Devil's Lake, where Aubrey has brought heavy snow there. The snow's starting to pile up. You can see it. It's covering, I think that's a road. I'm going to guess that's a road, and it is covering it. You can see some cars kind of making their way along as well. Going to continue to see that storm possibly piling up feet of snow across portions of North Dakota. This is what we're looking at, the bullseye here in North Dakota and into the very northwestern portion of Minnesota there. Denver, we just saw that earlier. It plunged from the 80s yesterday to the lows in the 20s this morning. In fact, down into the teens right now. Now, Winter Storm Aubrey looking to add insult to injury with snow. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels shows us how people are handling the weather whiplash.
Winter Storm Aubrey has certainly brought the snow to the Mile High City. In fact, you can see one of the plow trucks from the municipal crews. They're out right now. In fact, remember, this is the very first snowstorm of the season, so they're full supply at this point. But of course, this is the first snowstorm of the season. We'll have to see how things go throughout the rest of this fall into winter and then eventually spring. But we'll have to see what this is going to be like, because I'll tell you what, folks, this is not necessarily the earliest snowstorm, but it is earlier than average. The average first snow is October 18th, so we're about a week early. But if we look back in the history books, the earliest snow of all time here in Denver, we got to go back to 1961 on September 3rd. That was the earliest snowstorm in general. But as we go through this day, remember, driving for conditions. This is the first snowstorm, so kind of jog the memory books on how to drive in this kind of stuff, even in a city like Denver that deals with snow. It's slick out there, and in fact, you can see the road here in front of the Colorado State Capitol is definitely slushed over at this point, so crews are out there doing what they can to clean up the slick conditions. But the city of Denver has recorded and logged more than 50 accidents already today. Area highways are dealing with accidents, so it's definitely one of those days to drive for conditions, and just remember, take it easy, take it slow. Keep some more distance between you and the car in front of you out of an abundance of caution. Now, the good news is, after this major temperature swing, 80s yesterday, it's going to be in the teens tomorrow morning. It's going to warm up and get back to more seasonable temperatures, believe it or not, by tomorrow afternoon, where it's going to start around 15 degrees in the morning. By tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be in the 50s. By Saturday, it's going to be in the 60s. And on Sunday, it's going to be in the 70s. So we're talking about a lovely weekend here in Colorado and outside of Denver, Colorado, but still make sure you're using extreme caution this morning as you move around. In Denver, Colorado, Justin Michaels, the Weather Channel.
All right, Posty, so let's just picture this. Yesterday, you're cruising around, you got the windows down, it's 80 degrees, it's feeling great.
Yeah.
Today, it feels
I'm there.
like 7 degrees.
What happened?
Are you feeling like you got whipped around by the weather?
I'm feeling something really bad happened, and maybe I woke up in a nightmare, but it's weather.
It's weather. That's how it works. That's why we love it.
I know. Big winter storms can do that. They can make you go from summer to winter in like a day. And that's what happened in Denver, and they'll be back up to 70 degrees soon. But that bad winter weather in Denver is headed toward the northern plains. And look at some of these numbers coming out when the storm system is finally gone, probably late in the weekend. 2 to 3 feet in some spots. It's going to come with a lot of wind, of course. And as mentioned by the National Weather Service in Grand Forks, they called it a crippling blizzard, and that is a likely condition that we expect with visibilities near zero and travel extremely dangerous, hazardous, and frankly unadvised. Don't do it if you don't have to. Right now, the weather is bad and getting worse across that very same region. Temperatures falling through the 30s. The wind's picking up, and on the warm side of it, actually not too bad. Minneapolis, a little bit light rain right now, 57. You too will get some snow showers probably late in the weekend as the system begins to move away. But before then, we have a lot of atmospheric adjustment to take place, which is going to allow a big-time cyclone, a winter storm, to pummel parts of the northern plains. Here's ingredient number 1. Upper trough right in there, a little cold pocket aloft, an extension of the much colder air over Western Canada that has moved into parts of the Intermountain West. Circulating around that, very strong winds aloft. The jet stream is doing one of those numbers. And as that whole complex of system moves eastward, we're starting to see the atmosphere underneath it accommodate its arrival by falling pressures. Sea level pressures are beginning to fall here, and that is going to continue to be the case tonight, tomorrow, and through Friday as that upper level system moves in. Very dynamic system. Now check out how it evolves, really, right through Friday and into Saturday. This thing wraps itself up like a cinnamon roll. This is a very powerful system, unlike a lot of them that we see kind of roll around and then move away. This one takes over the pattern over North America and becomes essentially the weather for so many people with that jet stream shape. And also underneath it, the very powerful low pressure, somewhere around 990 millibars, we think, will be its minimum over the Red River Valley of the North, probably later tomorrow or early Saturday. The snow that's going to come is going to come down hard. We think maybe in excess of 1 inch per hour. Again, very windy, wind gusts of over 50 miles per hour in the Red River Valley of the North, say Fargo, Grand Forks, areas nearby, even in western Minnesota, Detroit Lakes. Watch out for blizzard conditions going on for most of the day, probably Friday and into early Saturday. And it continues. This storm just, remember how big it was? Well, systems oftentimes that are that big don't move very quickly. This is exactly what's going to happen even on Sunday. Some remnants of snow showers, Alex, will be moving through parts of Minnesota and maybe even getting into the Twin Cities. Back to you.
Wow. Well, you know, winter storm warnings, they are up all across parts of North Dakota, from Bismarck to Dickinson to even Devil's Lake here. And that's where we find our very own Chris Warren hanging out there in Devil's Lake as the snow starts to pile up.
I am under Highway 2 right now, and I can feel the cold north wind blowing down through this tunnel. And before it got to this tunnel, it was up in Canada. This is some cold air that's coming in, setting the stage for what could end up being a winter storm nightmare for some. We do know that travel is going to be virtually impossible. It's going to be dangerous to say the least, if not impossible in some areas. And part of the reason for that is the fact that this cold air is coming in, and it is providing a situation where we're going to start to see the snow accumulate on the roads. Right now, bare and wet, but what's going to happen first? It's going to be the bridges and overpasses. So like this tunnel, this cold air is being rushed under, and bridges that goes over lakes or streams throughout the Dakotas, those are going to be experiencing the similar story. The airflow going around and cooling the road from above and below. So when you see signs as you're driving along that says bridges and overpasses freeze before the main road, that's why. It's because of that cold air that's coming in. At the height of this storm, we're going to be seeing winds gusting to 40, even 50 miles an hour. And when it's all over, we're looking at around 2 feet of snow, if not more. So things potentially at times will be dangerous. We just hope everybody plays it smart and stays safe.
And here we are looking in on Devil's Lake, North Dakota. This is our exclusive storm path camera showing you how conditions are faring now. And it's a lot of snow that is adding up.
It certainly is. You can see that there. I was trying to make out exactly what we were looking at earlier. I can't tell if that's a road or a field, and that is because the snow is covering it.
Tough to tell. Yeah, is it an access road? Oh, so it is a road.
Okay.
Just no one's going on it, which is good to know.
Yeah.
That people are avoiding trying to be out there. At least too many folks. There are a couple of stragglers here and there, but not a whole lot of activity. Well, coming up, Winter Storm Aubrey won't just be a historic snowmaker.
But it could help spin up some tornadoes in parts of the plains. We'll pinpoint where after the break.
Take the floor somewhere unexpected. Everything you need is at your fingertips and at the Home Depot. On-trend styles with innovations to make it pet-proof, make it life-proof, make it waterproof, make it beautiful. And the Home Depot has everything you need to make it yours. Today is the day for doing with Pergo Outlast Plus waterproof laminate starting at $279 a square foot. Only from the Home Depot.
The infamous off-limits room. Invented to protect vulnerable flooring from unruly behaviors like walking and standing. Until waterproof vinyl flooring came along, freeing households from the very fears that once rendered whole rooms unusable. They're called living rooms because they're for living. These are the floors homes are built on. Lumber Liquidators Flooring. This week, save up to 29% on select waterproof floors.
In an era of online retail where everything is just a few clicks away, buying a car should be no different. That's why at Carvana, you can buy a car 100% online. We made it easy to browse, view, and buy from over 10,000 cars. You can even trade in your old car, all while binge watching your favorite TV show. Afterwards, we'll deliver your car to you. Or you can pick it up from one of our car vending machines. Either way, your car comes with a 7-day return policy. So grab a seat, relax in your comfy pants, and enjoy the new way to buy a car at Carvana.
Have you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and had serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or had revision or repair surgery? You may have been a victim of a product that was defectively designed, and you may be entitled to compensation. Hernia repair surgeries are one of the most common surgeries performed in the United States, with over 500,000 surgical procedures annually. Recent studies have found higher rates of hernias reopening when hernia mesh has been implanted. If you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and have experienced serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or you later required revision or repair surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you protect your rights and fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience, support staff, and resources to get you the most compensation for your injuries. Call for a free case review.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shear she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Home insurance trusted by more people than any other. State Farm.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. But with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on, uninterrupted, because you'll have power when you need it the most.
24 days we were without power. I had water, I had ice, I had coffee, I had air conditioner. I was able to stay here because of the Generac.
Get the safety, security, and peace of mind your family deserves with a home standby generator from Generac. 8 out of 10 home generators are Generac, with thousands of satisfied customers.
Very good product. Very, very good reviews from everybody.
Prices start at just $19.99. And special financing is available with surprisingly affordable monthly payments. Call now to schedule your free in-home assessment, and you'll receive a 7-year extended warranty absolutely free. That's a $695 value. Call or go online today. Power your life with Generac.
This is epic! You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat. We are live on the ground.
Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
It took a little while to start, but the snow has certainly come to the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado, as Winter Storm Aubrey, expected to bring snow, certainly has. Now, are we going to see the amounts that they're expecting north, northwest, northeast of here, up into even North Dakota? Probably not. In fact, absolutely not. Maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow expected here in Denver, Colorado, where they're talking about feet farther north of here. But the bigger story here in Denver, yeah, the snow's one thing. It's the first snowstorm of the season. But the bigger story is this intense temperature swing. Think about this, folks. Yesterday, as I flew in, it was in the low to mid 80s. I had my sleeves rolled up. It was a beautiful day in Denver, Colorado. Well, this morning when we walked out to our live shots here right outside the state capitol, it was in the 20s. Tomorrow morning, as the kids are standing at the bus stop, it's going to be in the teens. But the good news is, despite those drastic temperature swings, this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be in the 60s and 70s, and a picture-perfect weekend if you want to get outside and enjoy the Colorado Rockies. In Denver, Justin Michaels, the Weather Channel.
All right, so Justin there in Denver. Now you're taking a live look at Devil's Lake, North Dakota. This is one of our exclusive storm path cameras, and you see it here. Do you see some people out there on the roads? I've mainly seen trucks or SUVs as we've looked at this camera, but you see the road there. But if you just look to the side of the road there, you can see the covering of snow. Now, this is mild. We're going to continue to see this piling up. And taking you now to Sturgis, South Dakota, you can see definitely not very many people out right now. You can see the snow almost covering that parking lot. So certainly looking very winter-like as we've just gotten into fall. Now, you may think, oh, it's a blizzard out there. Well, actually, we're going to get real technical on you because there are certain criteria that have to meet, a winter storm has to meet for it to be considered an actual blizzard. And here it is. You've got to have wind speeds 35 miles per hour or more, visibility a quarter of a mile or less. So just imagine that. When you're talking about fog, visibility a quarter of a mile or less is dangerous. Imagine with the blowing snow, and that has to last for 3 hours or more. Now, some things that are not factors that you might be surprised by: the snowfall amount, the temperature, and the geographical location. So, certainly possible to see some blizzard conditions, or even likely, I'd say, across portions of the Dakotas, especially as we head into Friday and Friday evening when we're really seeing these winds pick up. Look at that wind gust forecast for Bismarck. We're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts there. In Fargo, you saw it up to about 40 miles, and this is lasting for days. So the gusty winds just continue to keep coming with Winter Storm Aubrey. So with that, we also have all of the snow and the potential to see some record-breaking snow. Grand Forks, your record 10.9 inches. The forecast for you, though, 18 to 24 inches. So you will likely see a record-breaking snow event from Winter Storm Aubrey in Grand Forks. But not only are we dealing with, the snow from Aubrey, but Alex, we also have that risk for strong storms as well.
That's right. As we head farther to the south, this is where we get into the warmer side of things. I mean, look at Dallas, 80 degrees for you at this hour, warm times. But what is on the way? A cold front. Now, that cold front's going to do two things. One, drop the temperatures quite a bit. I can promise you 9 a.m. in Dallas this morning is going to feel a lot different than 9 a.m. in Dallas tomorrow morning. But that front's also going to bring us some storms, wind potential, damaging wind, hail, and even the chance for an isolated tornado. Let's bring in Dr. Postel to talk about this. And Dr. Postel, clear as a day here. We've been watching it here on the satellite view. We can actually pick out where the cold front is.
Yeah, you can see it on the visible satellite pictures. It's really cool. It's like right there. That line of clouds that you see, that's the cold front separating 70s right now to 50s in 50 miles or so. So temperatures will tank once that front goes through, but it's along it that we've got to watch out for the development of pretty big thunderstorms. And we're kind of starting to see some showers develop along it, but more yet to come.
Yeah, you said it. It's going to be getting going here a little bit later, and you can see the zone that we're most concerned with here. Anywhere you see that red showing up, North Texas all the way up to parts of Missouri.
Yeah, and that's the cold front that it's going to move into that region, which is why that area has been outlined. And it's not the prefrontal rain or showers or even storms that we're going to be really closely watching. It's going to be right back in here, where early in the afternoon, we think maybe for a few more hours, there's a shot. If some of these storms develop, they could remain isolated, discrete, all by themselves, more likely to produce a tornado than if they form a line, which will probably happen anyway later on today.
And that line of storms, the squall line, will take over. That'll be the main feature that we follow. And generally, when you deal with a squall line, the main threat's going to be some of those potential damaging wind gusts.
Yes, and so the threat for severe weather in generally will continue long after dark, long after midnight probably, Alex, and move into Arkansas, northeast Texas, maybe even through the Dallas, Fort Worth area as well. And damaging winds with that, the primary hazard.
There you go. So yeah, once a lot of things to watch out for us. And again, the main feature here that we're following is our cold front, and the wind scenario here out ahead of that front is really going to determine the modes of severe that we see.
Right. So this evening ahead of that front, the winds will be out of the south, maybe a little bit of a southwest component to it. But you go up in altitude and they will change some. They will increase in speed a little and change in direction a little. Not much, but a little. And they're enough really to sort of say, hey, you know what? There's enough sort of change in this wind with height that might allow some of these storms to remain by themselves and to remain maybe tornadic. But that window of opportunity is only a few hours long before it devolves into a squall line.
Yeah, pretty quick window there. But you see the Torcon values, they are up 3s here for us. We get basically North Texas, central eastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri into northwest Arkansas, 30% chance of a tornado.
Indeed, and the severe weather threat continues long after dark this time around.
Back in just a bit, more on a winter storm.
Hello?
Hello there. Almond Joy is tropicaling.
When you need a taste of vacation, pick up the Joseph A. Bank Columbus Day event. Save up to 60% off on almost everything. Dress and sports shirts, 4 for $125. All suits on sale starting at $229. Plus an extra 50% off clearance. The Columbus Day event, only at Joseph A. Bank.
With 2019's most popular palettes and new paint selection tools online and in-store, the Home Depot's making finding your color easier than ever. Get a colorful new experience and everything you'll need to get started painting like Glidden Premium Interior, now just $18.98. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
So Dish gives you NFL Red Zone, no extra charge. That's every touchdown, every game, Sunday afternoons. Because if you miss all that action, you miss all this action.
Dish, tuned in to you.
Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about exciting plans available to anyone with Medicare. Many plans provide broad coverage and still may save you money on monthly premiums and prescription drugs. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at a Medicare supplement plan. As you can see, they cover the same things as Original Medicare, and they also cover your Medicare deductibles and coinsurance, but they often have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Now, let's take a look at Humana's Medicare Advantage plans. With a Humana Medicare plan, hospital stays, doctor office visits, and Medicare deductibles are covered. And of course, most Humana Medicare Advantage plans include prescription drug coverage. In fact, in 2018, Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan members saved an estimated $7,400 on average on their prescription costs. Most Humana Medicare Advantage plans help you stay active and keep fit by including a Silver Sneakers fitness program at no extra cost. And you may be able to save on dental and vision expenses because coverage is now included with most Humana Medicare Advantage plans. You get all this coverage for as low as a $0 monthly plan premium in many areas. And your doctor and hospital may already be a part of Humana's large network. If you want the facts, call right now for the free decision guide from Humana. There is no obligation, so call the number on your screen right now to see if your doctor is in our network, to find out if you could save on your prescriptions, and to get our free decision guide. Licensed Humana sales agents are standing by, so call now.
Exactly. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Nice. But, what's up with your partner?
Not again. Mimo, that's your reflection. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. When new Starbucks creamer meets your morning coffee, your favorite Starbucks flavors come to life. Smooth, bold, creamy. Inspired by the Starbucks caramel macchiato you love. Mornings just got better. This changes everything. New Starbucks creamer, now at home.
Ashley Home Store's Columbus Day sale is in its final week.
Save up to 30%. Or get 0% interest for 6 whole years. Discover huge savings at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Well, we got 2 big storms dominating the weather across the country, and we start with Denver, Colorado, where, boy, we have no doubt gone through some hefty, big-time changes. We were up in the 80s yesterday. Now, look at what we've got. The scene as the camera pans around, some snow out there, and temperatures in the teens.
Winter wonderland there. To Plymouth, Massachusetts, where we have a whole different type of storm, a nor'easter type of storm, just absolutely, hitting the coast there. We've got our exclusive storm path camera here in Plymouth showing those waves rocking the coast, and that system going to be hanging around and not ejecting until late Saturday, early into Sunday. So you've got a couple more days of this across portions of New England, this dreary, windy weather.
And how about some new video? This one coming into us from New Jersey. Some pretty massive waves actually pounding the shoreline here on Monmouth Beach. We could see them streaming their way on in and then crashing on in as well. Coming in here, we're talking up to even 10 feet, some of these waves. Coastal flood advisory, that is in effect. We got some strong winds taking their toll here on the shoreline. Winds sustained anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour, but of course, you can get some higher gusts. So all up and down that sort of mid-Atlantic, North and New England coast, impacts being felt. Hello, welcome back into Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Alex Wallace.
And I'm meteorologist Felicia Combs. It's certainly a stormy day on tap for New England as that fierce storm parks itself just off the coast. Our Mike Seidel, who's in Plymouth, Massachusetts, he's monitoring the wind and the waves. He has the latest.
It's a nor'easter that's going nowhere fast. It's stuck off the coast of southeast Massachusetts, a couple hundred miles southeast of Cape Cod, and because of that, this is what we're going to see here right on through Friday night. Finally, that front in the plains of the snowstorm will act to kick it out on Saturday. This is what you always expect when you have winds like this in southern New England. Winds on shore, northeast, north. We've had gusts up to 40 miles an hour here. 54 at Nantucket. They're more exposed, but look at the wave action. The tide is going out now. The one saving grace over the next couple of days, we're at low astronomical tide, so that's going to really ease the risk of any significant flooding. With that said, we could have some minor coastal flooding. We do have a coastal flood advisory for that here in Plymouth and across the Cape. For tonight's high tide here in Plymouth about 10:15. Other impacts, there have been some power outages across Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard through the morning hours and the early afternoon. You may see some power outages, but as fast as they add up, they get diminished as the power company gets the power back on, generally in the 300 to 400 range as far as the number of customers. And at Logan Airport, no major issues so far. About 75 flights canceled as of midday, and just about all of those, Cape Air, the regional airline here in southeast Massachusetts.
Thanks, Mike. Let's specifically talk about that as this storm is going to be walloping the coast for the next couple of days. It's almost stationary, hanging out offshore there. We've had this plume of rain, this plume of moisture pushing its way onshore for the past several hours. So the area of low pressure actually kind of down here, but the circulation around that low pressure, you see it here. That's what's driving that pocket of rain onshore, and that's what has been driving that rain for quite some time now. Nantucket Island, you have been stuck in this rain for hours on hours. Around the Cape as well, the same story. We're getting a break in that rain in Boston right now, but I don't think that's going to continue to last. And then you can see down into Rhode Island and Connecticut dealing with the rain as well. Now this rain shield going to continue to make its way farther inland and kind of farther to the southwest as well with that rotation around that low pressure system. So we're seeing some of that rain moving through Hartford and New York City, especially as we head through the overnight hours. But also I don't want want to lose sight of the fact that we're continuing to see rounds of rain through Boston and Nantucket as we head into Friday morning as well. So gear up, keep those umbrellas handy because it's going to be sticking around for you. We've also got that potential for some flash flooding, the specifically higher amounts for places shaded in this dark green. So Nantucket Island, you're included in that. Martha's Vineyard, Newport, you could be dealing with some flash flooding as we head through tomorrow morning. And as mentioned, this system really not going too far. Here's that center of low pressure, and it's sticking around through Friday into Saturday, and then finally ejecting as we head into the weekend, Alex. So it will look better for especially the second part of the weekend, but for the next couple days, it's a dreary one.
Yeah, you said it. So the Northeast is breaking out the umbrellas and the rain boots today, but it's heavy winter coats for the folks in the northern plains with our historic winter storm, Aubrey. Feet of snow, we'll tell you where.
Acura in 2 words.
Beat that.
Beat that.
I'm on it. Me too. Beat that.
Well, that about sums it up. Bear presents Tough as Walls.
That's some great paint.
That's some great paint.
Bear, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with interior paints. Right now, get incredible savings on Bear Marquee Interior, exclusively at the Home Depot.
Take your time, build a home, build a place where we all can belong.
Give extra, get extra with new Extra Refreshers gum.
For years, we weren't getting enough sleep, so we wanted the little sleep we were getting to be the best sleep possible.
Friends were raving about their Boll & Branch sheets, so we looked them up. Not only do they have thousands of 5-star reviews, they are loved by 3 U.S. presidents. Now we know why. They're the softest sheets we've ever felt.
And the fact that they're ethically made from organic cotton helps us sleep easy. Until the kids wake us up.
$50 off your first set of sheets at BollandBranch.com.
This is my skin, and this is your Skin But Better CC Plus cream. It's your anti-aging skincare, SPF 50 plus full coverage foundation.
Shop the #1 CC cream in America at Ulta.com.
In the last year, there were 3 victims of cybercrime every second.
When a criminal has your personal information, they can do all sorts of things in your name. Criminals can use ransomware, spyware, or malware to gain access to information, like your name, your birthday, and even your social security number.
That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company, providing an all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you identity theft protection, device security, a VPN for online privacy, and more. And if you have an identity theft problem, we'll work to fix it with our $1 million protection package.
There are new cyber threats out there every day. So protecting yourself isn't a one-time job, it's an ongoing need. Now is the time to make sure that you have the right plan in place. Don't wait.
Norton 360 with LifeLock. Use promo code GET25 to save 25% off your first year and get a free shredder with annual membership. Call now to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV.
If you've tried college but never finished, SNHU lets you transfer up to 90 credits toward your bachelor's degree.
It doesn't matter how old you are, you can do it. You can finish.
Finish your degree at snhu.edu.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's boom drop time. We got a new champion! We got a new champion!
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along. I wrote a song for you. And all the things you do. And it was called Yellow.
Thank you for staying with us here in Weather Center Live. I'm Justin Michaels in Denver, Colorado, where Winter Storm Aubrey has now brought the snow. In fact, it's been snowing for the better part of this morning, and people's morning commutes have been a bit treacherous. In fact, just in the city of Denver alone, more than 50 accidents logged, according to the police, and on area highways even more than that, as people are working their way to work, but also finding very slick conditions. Because remember, before the snow started to come down, we were dealing with some other freezing precipitation, freezing sleet, freezing rain. So it has been a bit of a messy morning as far as Winter Storm Aubrey and the very first winter storm out the gates here in Denver, Colorado. And also that extreme temperature swing in the 80s yesterday, in the 20s today, and as kids are standing at the bus stop tomorrow morning, it's going to be in the teens. But the good news is, as we go into this weekend, it's going to be in the 50s tomorrow afternoon, 60s and 70s for Saturday and Sunday. Should be a lovely weekend here in the Mile High City, and of course along the Front Range of the Rockies. In Denver, Colorado, Justin Michaels, the Weather Channel.
Thanks a lot, Justin. And yeah, that weather whiplash, the temperatures dropping quickly, and then you're throwing in the snow. But as you mentioned, this storm eventually going to pivot away from the Denver area, make its way into the northern plains where the snow totals there are really going to pile up. Right now, we've got snow still falling across Denver there, as you mentioned, in the Front Range of the Rockies along the I-25 corridor. And then you can see the general direction here of that snow. As you look off to the northeast, you see the snow falling across portions of Nebraska and South Dakota as well. 21 degrees in Spearfish, 24 in Rapid City, where we are seeing that snow falling currently. We've got Aberdeen and Fargo still just above freezing, so you can kind of see that rain-snow line there where we've got the rain switching over to snow when you're getting that colder air filtering in. Winter storm warning stretching from the Dakotas back into Wyoming. We've got winter weather advisories and watches as well. So let's time this out for you with Aubrey. Look at this heading through tonight into early Friday morning. The Dakota is absolutely covered in that winter weather, and then it's continuing throughout the day on Friday, except we're seeing more of Minnesota included in this now. I-94 going to be just an absolute mess the next few days, and then heading into Saturday morning. Look, we've got Minneapolis included, still including Bismarck and Fargo in that as well. And then we're heading into Sunday, and it's still continuing, still that possibility for some isolated snow early in on Sunday. So this system sticking around. And, you know, guys, it's not only the snow that we're dealing with this system, but you've got the really harsh cold temperatures. This is a strong low pressure system. And of course, that leads to the risk for severe weather as well.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one thing we'll be watching and tracking as we head on through the really the rest of the afternoon, getting into the evening. And one of the culprits, Dr. Postel, here to talk about it, our cold front, that strong cold front, which we can actually pick out on the satellite.
How about that for identifying a cold front on the satellite pictures with a little cloud and not much rain? You know, a lot of times that's what happens. I think that's going to change, though, going forward. We're going to start to see more thunderstorms form along it, and some of those could be severe, Alex.
Yeah, that is going to be the threat, and you can see the zone that we're most concerned with, essentially stretching from North Texas. You got Dallas in there, and then sliding towards the north and the east to get up into even parts of Missouri.
And there's that cold front, and it's that exactly that's going to be the trigger later on. We have some more storms out ahead of it, but I really think along that front is going to be the place where we're going to watch initiation of the most severe thunderstorm activity today, which could include tornadoes for a couple of hours as the atmosphere allows that.
Yeah, we think that's good. That sort of opening window will be earlier in the sort of period when those storms get going. And then as we head on into the late afternoon and evening, start to line up a bit, what we call a squall line.
Yeah, probably so, with damaging winds becoming the primary hazard long after dark through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. So if you want to look at really what's going to allow maybe that brief window for tornadoes, you have to look at the atmospheric wind profiles and how they change as they go up in altitude along and just ahead of that front.
Yeah, and that's what we'll see. One of the things that we're going to watch is the winds coming out of the south at the surface, but slightly different direction as well as different speed a bit here for us as well as you head up aloft.
A little bit, but not a lot. We've seen variations with the wind with altitude on a much different scale than today, but there is just enough sort of movement as you go up in altitude in the right way to allow some curvature of what's called the hodograph. That's sort of the way to look at the wind and how it changes in altitude. If it does so in sort of both speed and direction in the precise way, you can get discrete cells, and we have a little bit of that acting for us, I think, for the next 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, so that's why there is at least that chance for the isolated tornado. Not a huge risk 3 here for, so it's not 0 either. North Texas, central eastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, as well as northwest Arkansas, 30% chance of a tornado.
Yes, and then of course the hazard of damaging winds and maybe small hail and heavy rain continues well beyond the afternoon and evening hours, probably through tomorrow morning.
And then of course the chilly air moves in behind all
Very
this.
nice.
All right, thanks Dr. Postel. Felicia, we'll send it over to you.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's hard to believe, but 1 year ago today, Hurricane Michael made landfall in Mexico Beach, Florida. After months of struggle, one couple is finally getting their happy ending. That's all coming up next.
Listen what I say. Come back and hey, look at what I say. The more I see, the less I know, the more I like to live. Give a little bit, oh, give a little bit of your love to me.
You took me in and you wrapped your arms around me for days.
After being a part of millions of love stories.
Will you marry me?
Yes. At K, we've learned the most important love story will always be your own. Every yes, OMG yes, begins with K. Now during Poptober, save 20 to 40% on all bridal.
That's half the fun of a new house, seeing what people left behind in the attic.
Well, saving on homeowners insurance with Geico's help was pretty fun, too.
Oh, it's a tiny dancer.
They left a ton of stuff up here.
Well, enjoy your house.
Nope. No, thank you.
Geico could help you save on homeowners and renters insurance.
This week only, large two-topping pizzas at Domino's are only $5.99 each when you carry out. That's why we had to bring in the big guns.
Dennis Strand, Domino's 4-time world's fastest pizza maker.
Carry out any large two-topping pizza for $5.99 this week only.
How we doing?
Fabulous.
Wonder how the firm's doing without its fearless leader. You sure you want to leave that all behind?
Stay restless with the icon that does the same. The new RX, crafted by Lexus.
Lease the 2020 RX 350 all-wheel drive for $439 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Swifty has big dreams.
Hot dog here, ready for action.
You are not a dog. You are a small Arctic fox. And on November 1st...
I'm here to destroy your town.
Yes, the planet made a poopy. Surprise! He'll finally be top dog.
Tell me I can do this.
There is no way you can do this. Jeremy Renner, Heidi Klum, James Franco, John Cleese, Omar Sy with Angelica Houston, and Alec Baldwin.
Bada bing, bada boom, justice served.
Arctic Dogs. Rated PG. Theaters November 1st.
Do you use catheters? Are you using the catheter that's really best for you?
Oh, yeah. For years, I'd been using one kind of catheter, and I never knew that there were other really great catheters available until Liberator sent me samples to try. If I had not tried the samples from Liberator, I might never have found the perfect catheter for me. Liberator Medical sent me a catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. Now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier. My catheters were completely paid for, not a dime out of my pocket.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical. Get your free catheter sample pack.
Call 1-800-745-1930. That's 1-800-745-1930.
Stream your news just like everything else you love with Local Now. It's completely free and ready to go when and where you are. Local Now. Find it in your favorite app store.
No traffic lights or street lights in parts of California last night after PG&E cut power to hundreds of thousands of customers in an attempt to prevent wildfires. Police officers helped to direct traffic through darkened streets in Oakland. The outage is expected to last until later today. Gusts in Northern California could top 60 or even 70 miles per hour today. So let's get you updated on the current amount of outages across California. You see it here, especially across North Central California. We're up to more than 630,000 power outages at this point. Of course, these are preventative power outages that are being, turned off purposely. Where we're seeing this critical fire risk here around Sacramento up into Redding. That's the fire danger for today. You can see that's also around Los Angeles. Extreme fire danger just north of Los Angeles as we've got these very gusty winds in Sacramento, winds gusting up to 24 miles per hour right now. And that is a dry, gusty wind that really elevates that fire risk.
Well, Mexico Beach's recovery from Hurricane Michael, that is moving forward, but it is a slow process.
Yes, it is. Today marks the tragic anniversary of when the Category 5 storm made landfall here. And a year later, thousands of families still don't have homes. One of those families is Jack and Bella Sebastian. The couple lost their house in Mexico Beach. Determined to rebuild, the Sebastians have stayed at their property. We first met them last year, right after Michael, and have been following their progress with our series, The Weather Channel Family to Family. After months of sleeping in their car, then in a tent, and later in a camper, the Sebastians are finally building their new house.
October marks the first anniversary of Hurricane Michael, and we are in the process of rebuilding. There's still quite a number of months to rebuild, quite a number of things to do.
The construction already started. As we get in progress with the house and everything, it's like the problems get smaller, so it's easier. You can see the light on the end of the tunnel now.
We are the first house. It's like a model house. Because of us, that's why all these other houses around here are going up. It does feel like no one wants to be the first and maybe get cheated or spend more than they have to.
This house gonna be very functional for us. Very easy to maintain. It's a beach house. My dream home? No. No. No, I'm gonna be honest about it.
What would a dream house look like?
A lot bigger. I like to stay positive about the new house. Yeah, people saying 2 years, people saying 5 years, but I want it to be thinking in my mind, then next year by this time will be being built. I guess that dream came true of seeing the house being built. I don't know, that was like November maybe? It happened. It was not easy. I'll never say it was easy process. I'm gonna come clean with this one. Come on.
I don't care. I got to the point that I don't care.
Since you don't care.
You know what? All it takes is hire two guys with a spray paint. And just
okay,
spray
listen.
What does it matter?
The house gonna be turquoise. Hopefully you can live with that choice.
You're never gonna win an argument against her, so I don't even bother.
As soon as possible, you got to make decisions. You have to stay here. It's depressing sometimes, but you got to make the best with what you got. God giving us now the rewards from the struggle that we went through after the storm. We so close to the water. Yeah, it's a possibility to happen again, but we love the location. And that's the price we have to pay with living on a beach.
I'm sure it was a tough decision indeed to rebuild there, but as you can hear, their love for being there overwhelmingly makes them want to stay.
And you certainly understand that love of being near the water.
Absolutely. All right, well, still ahead here on Weather Center Live. Huge waves really lapping the shore across parts of New England as a nor'easter spins just off the coast.
Yeah, let's take a live look at Plymouth, Massachusetts. We are going to actually, let's go to Denver, where it is snowing. A little bit of a different weather situation there.
What does help for heart failure look like? It looks like Jill heading off on an adventure. Jill has Entresto, a heart failure medicine that helps her heart so she can keep on doing what she loves. In the largest heart failure study ever, Entresto was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. It helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium.
The beat goes on.
Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure.
Where to next?
Entrust your heart to Entresto.
The beat goes on.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment. Call Coventry Direct to learn more.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
Our friends sold their policy to help pay their medical bills. And that got me thinking. Maybe selling our policy could help with our retirement.
I was skeptical, so I did some research and called Coventry Direct. They explained life insurance is a valuable asset that can be sold.
We learned we could sell all of our policy or keep part of it with no future payments. Who knew? We sold our policy. Now we can relax and enjoy our retirement as we had planned.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies, or call 1-800-482-7100. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer alert.
If you've ever used a weed killer, you have to hear this message. I'm attorney Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Recently, one of our lawyers was part of a team that helped secure a jury verdict for a couple who contracted cancer after using Roundup. If you're a farmer, casual gardener, or anyone else who has used weed killers, you may not know that studies suggest that glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup, may increase the risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Monsanto allegedly was aware of the risk posed by Roundup, but failed to disclose them to the public. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and you have used Roundup, you could be owed money for damages. Contact us today for a free case review. You pay nothing unless we recover money for you. Call the number on your screen now. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Call 833-974-1302.
Take the floor somewhere unexpected. Everything you need is at your fingertips and at the Home Depot. On-trend styles with innovations to make it pet-proof. Make it life-proof. Make it waterproof. Make it beautiful. And the Home Depot has everything you need to make it yours. Today is the day for doing with Pergo Outlast Plus waterproof laminate starting at $279 a square foot. Only from the Home Depot.
It's a big weather day with big impacts across the country. And there are two sides to this weather story. We'll pinpoint the areas where Winter Storm Aubrey is bringing record snowfall, plus show the areas where the same system will produce severe weather.
But first, a nor'easter slamming New England, how the coastal storm will leave some areas flooded and even interrupt your travel plans. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome into Weather Center Live. Glad you're with us. I'm meteorologist Alexandra Steele.
And I'm meteorologist Nick Walker. Winter Storm Aubrey on the move, and so are the severe storms to the south of that front. We'll get to that big developing story in just a moment.
All right, but first, a powerful nor'easter setting offshore right now from New England. Now, it is just blasting the coast with heavy rain and gusty winds. The storm is affecting 35 million people across 12 states, creating power outages and travel nightmares. The rain and wind will make tonight's showdown between the Patriots and the Giants in Gillette Stadium an ugly mess. And it's also going to be at least a day before anyone in the area sees any relief. Now, with more, here's Nick.
Yeah, we have this developing storm, and it's already bringing rainfall into portions of New England. The winds are on the increase. We'll see all the elements on the increase, including the coastal flooding, beach erosion possible too. Here's the center of the area of low pressure right there. And of course, we've got all these thunderstorms wrapping around that area of low pressure, and some of those are moving toward the coastline and into the land areas right now around Boston, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, also seeing the winds pick up there too, and seeing some heavier rainfall that's already occurred here on some of the islands. And look at the yellows there, all of that headed toward Long Island. So very, very soon you're going to feel the effects of this nor'easter with all of the elements I mentioned: rain, wind, the wind gusts around Nantucket already at 48 miles per hour. Boston's seen gusts to 35. Montauk gusts to 35 as well. And you'll add to that the rain, and some of that rain's just going to be sideways. We've got high wind warnings here for Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod. Gale warnings up and down the coastline here from New England all the way down toward the Delmarva Peninsula. And offshore waves already at 25 feet, 22 feet from some of the offshore buoys. Those waves will only be on the increase and push water onto the coastline. Coastal flooding is going to be a probability here, and the coastal flood warnings and advisories are already up for this region. So we'll continue to see this low pressure intensify as it's just basically stalled right offshore. That big pressure gradient is going to bring those high winds into the area. The Weather Channel's Mike Seidel spent the morning along the coast in Plymouth, Massachusetts, watching as the heavy surf rolled onto shore. Mike?
It's a nor'easter that's going nowhere fast. It's stuck off the coast of southeast Massachusetts, a couple hundred miles southeast of Cape Cod, and because of that, this is what we're going to see here right on through Friday night. Finally, that front in the plains of the snowstorm will act to kick it out on Saturday. This is what you always expect when you have winds like this in southern New England. Winds on shore, northeast, north. We've had gusts up to 40 miles an hour here. 54 at Nantucket. They're more exposed, but look at the wave action. The tide is going out now. The one saving grace over the next couple of days, we're at low astronomical tide, so that's going to really ease the risk of any significant flooding. With that said, we could have some minor coastal flooding. We do have a coastal flood advisory for that here in Plymouth and across the Cape for tonight's high tide here in Plymouth about 10:15. Other impacts, there have been some power outages across Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard through the morning hours and the early afternoon. You may see some power outages, but as fast as they add up, they get diminished as the power company gets the power back on, generally in the 300 to 400 range as far as the number of customers. And at Logan Airport, no major issues so far. About 75 flights canceled as of midday, and just about all of those, Cape Air, the regional airline here in southeast Massachusetts.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Well, let's show you this area of low pressure and how it will impact you through the weekend in the Northeast, especially southern New England. Here's where it is right now. This area of low pressure is a few hundred miles south of Cape Cod, and it is spinning and spinning. And the problem is it's not going anywhere. So we do have 2 days of the rain and the wind and the surf as well. Even into early tomorrow morning, you'll see Nantucket, Boston, Manchester, even into down East Maine being impacted with the rain, and even into Saturday. But then finally, by Saturday night, it begins to exit, and finally this area of low pressure moves out and moves east. But through tomorrow morning, flash flooding certainly a problem, and it's here really on the Cape and the islands where we've seen the strongest wind gusts, about 50 miles per hour at both Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, and also east end of the Cape, and then also with the rain and the wind. So that's where the flash flooding will be the biggest problem. You can see from Mashpee to Orleans all along along the Cape and then even a little bit further inland toward Plymouth. The rain to come, again, the farther east you go, it's more impactful. The winds are greater, the rain is longer, the rain is slower, and the rain's heavier, and thus we've got greater rainfall totals out there on the Cape Martha's Vineyard, about 2 inches, Chatham, about 2 inches. And again, this is when all is said and done by the time it finally moves east on Saturday. So in Boston today, rain and wind and 55. Tomorrow, a similar setup, and then finally Saturday morning it ends. But again, impacting travel for sure at the airports it is today, and it will continue to. So today and tomorrow, the big days, Nick, but then finally Saturday morning, we've got some slow-moving storms, whether it's the big winter storm in the center of the country or this nor'easter. No one's moving anywhere too quickly.
And it's really the winter storm you're talking about is going to affect people all the way through the weekend there in the northern plains.
Historic, right?
It really is going to be nearly 1,800 miles to the west of that nor'easter. Winter Storm Aubrey is delivering heavy snow on the Rockies, and we're seeing those totals really pile up here into portions of the northern plains as well. And with that, also a brutal shift in temperatures. The high in Denver yesterday, 83 degrees as crews prepare their snowplows. Right now they're in the low 20s. They're hoping to hit 30. Just an amazing temperature difference in just a matter of hours. And some pretty amazing snowfall totals thus far too. Pony, Montana, 24 inches of snow. Helena had 1.5 feet of snow. Even Billings with 5.6 inches of snowfall there. We're continuing to see snow falling. That's why we've got winter storm warnings up for much of the Dakotas, down into Nebraska, portions of Wyoming too. Winter storm watches out ahead of that in portions of Minnesota, and winter weather advisories all the way down towards Cheyenne and into the Denver area, where we've already seen, in some cases, a couple of inches of snow. There is that system, that front. It continues to move eastward, and we're finding all of this moisture coming up ahead of that, mixing with the very cold air that's coming down behind the front, and we, as a result, are seeing that snowfall. Got it at Grand Forks, temperatures falling now into the mid-30s. Bismarck is below freezing. We got some windy conditions there, as well as Pierre. Let's take a look at some of these winds that we've been clocking. We've been looking at gusts of 33 miles per hour at Pierre. We've got a 34 mile per hour wind gust just in the last few minutes around Grand Forks. So it is possible that we're going to see some limited visibility due to the blowing snow, maybe even actual verified blizzard conditions too. The moisture wrapping around this area of low pressure is going to continue to bring snowfall. This moist air mass streams northward, so rain ahead of it, but a lot of that will turn to snow as this system continues to push toward the east, and cold Canadian air is funneled around that area of low pressure toward the south. It's snow and wintry precipitation. Yeah, we've got other kinds of precip too, the sleet, the freezing rain possible here, but mostly it's going to be a snow event with winds blowing that snow. And again, blizzard conditions are going to be possible, Alec.
All right, so Nick showing you what it looks like on radar, but what does it really look like? Our Chris Warren has been covering the storm from North Dakota and filed this report just a short while ago.
I am under Highway 2 right now, and I can feel the cold north wind blowing down through this tunnel. And before it got to this tunnel, it was up in Canada. This is some cold air that's coming in, setting the stage for what could end up being a winter storm nightmare for some. We do know that travel is going to be virtually impossible. It's going to be dangerous to say the least, if not impossible in some areas. And part of the reason for that is the fact that this cold air is coming in, and it is providing a situation where we're going to start to see the snow accumulate on the roads. Right now, bare and wet, but what's going to happen first? It's going to be the bridges and overpasses. So like this tunnel, this cold air is being rushed under, and bridges that goes over lakes or streams throughout the Dakotas, those are going to be experiencing the similar story. The airflow going around and cooling the road from above and below. So when you see signs as you're driving along that says bridges and overpasses freeze before the main road, that's why. It's because of that cold air that's coming in. At the height of this storm, we're going to be seeing winds gusting to 40, even 50 miles an hour. And when it's all over, we're looking at around 2 feet of snow, if not more. So things potentially at times will be dangerous. We just hope everybody plays it smart and stays safe.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Tomorrow, watching Chris will be incredible with the snow coming down, because it's not just today. It's really going to even ramp up tomorrow. So let me show you the snow that is still to come. Here's a look at where the current radar is. The blue, of course, showing you where the snow is from Bismarck down to southwest South Dakota, around Rapid City, and even into Fargo, Sioux Falls. This is tomorrow morning. But watch the energy really get amplified tomorrow into Saturday. Then we finally begin to see it exit. But it's really today, tonight, and tomorrow where we will see the heaviest of snow. And we are going to see historic snowfall totals, some we've never seen this early in the season. Look at this area here in northeast North Dakota, 2 to 3 feet of snow potentially. Along this 94, you can see where we've got at least 12 to 18, so really rigorous travel. And even south, certainly not quite as much in South Dakota, but an awful lot extending even east. The first snow perhaps for Minneapolis, and also we've seen it in Denver. It is their first snow. The greatest snows in October of all time. Forecast, the record is 8. We're recording extra, certainly more than that. Our forecast takes us from 8 to 12. Grand Forks, the most they've ever seen, 10.9. We will blow away that with almost 2 feet of snow. So snow is certainly one side of the story, but another side is the severe threat that's a little bit farther east and south, and Nick picks up that story.
Yeah, let's talk about the other side of the coin now. Yeah, we've got stormy weather. We've got gusty winds, lots of lightning, plentiful rain. Kansas City, for example, expecting storms into your early evening, and maybe even some heavy rain that could cause some flash flooding problems too. So let's talk about a widespread area that we're looking at for that severe weather. All the way from Missouri, particularly the southwestern portion, down through Oklahoma into North Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth, you need to keep your heads up for this as well. We've got all the ingredients coming together. The surface moisture flow from the southeast. We've got that cold front slicing southeastward, strong low-level jet from the southwest, and that, coupled with the mid-level winds from the west and southwest, is going to continue to mean the possibility of rotation with these thunderstorms. Little supercells developing here, and those rotating thunderstorms could mean tornadoes. So we're looking at that tornado threat here. It's a 3 in 10 chance, we believe, within a 50-mile radius of North Texas, central and eastern Oklahoma, also southwestern Missouri and northwestern Arkansas, a 3 in 10 chance of seeing a tornado there. We'll be watching that as we head through the rest of the afternoon and even into the evening hours too. You can see the cold front slicing through Oklahoma right now, and it's along and ahead of that front that we've already seen some thunderstorms popping up here and there, and even some heavy rainfall up into portions of Missouri. Flash flood warnings now to the southwest of Springfield, where 2 inches of rain's already fallen. More falling in that saturated ground is going to mean problems with small streams out of the banks. Turn around, don't drown, find another way around any flooded roadways you might encounter today. The greatest chance for severe storms, again, all in this red area. The future radar showing how this might develop as we head toward evening, not only in Missouri, portions of northwestern Arkansas, down through Oklahoma and into Texas. And then we've got more of that developing here toward nightfall into the nighttime hours. Even in the late night hours, we still could see strong thunderstorms in Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah, that's going to keep you up. And up toward the Little Rock area and even into St. Louis, we'll be watching for the threat of storms during the nighttime hours and during the overnight hours into your morning drive. Kansas City, couple hours of storms here this evening, off and on, and then things get a lot better here. But boy, does it ever cool down back behind that front too, Alex.
Yeah, that's the story. 30, 40, 50 degree temperature drop. So as the cold front driving Winter Storm Aubrey passes, it is dragging temperatures down, way down. Dallas, for example, expecting a high today of 91 and 62 tomorrow, and then in the 40s during the nighttime hours. So a good afternoon to you, Dallas. So kind of a cloudy skies, some scattered showers, steamy 91 degrees, but then the storms will come. So here's your October chill for Dallas. Again, afternoon storms today. Storms pretty robust tonight, overnight, late for you, Dallas. And then even maybe into early Friday morning, but by the time you get up and out around 7 or 8, maybe they'll push to the east. But tomorrow, from 91 today, 62 tomorrow. So precipitous temperature drop. We certainly have that. But not just in Texas. That's really the story. This cold front is so strong, bringing the the coldest air of Canada, dropping it down south. So watch this temperature profile. Of course, the reds where it's warm, the blues where it's quite cold. Well, as we head through tonight into tomorrow, watch the impact as far as we go. Look at Denver. Denver could see some historic low temperatures tomorrow morning. And then Lubbock at 62. Watch those temperatures continue to drop down to 15 degrees. So this is where it's all going, and certainly most of us, this 24-hour temperature change, pretty dramatic, 15 to 30 degrees cooler than we were the day before. Why? Well, Aubrey is moving down from Canada, so this area of low pressure is incredibly strong. It's dropping in pressure because it's strengthening, and it's really quite strong, and it's fueling the snow and also the wind, and it's also the difference between the area of high pressure to the south and this area of low pressure to the north. And we're watching the cold air kind of funnel between those two, Nick. So we've got the cold air, we've got the snow, incredible temperature drop, and potentially for severe weather as well.
And while we watch that, we continue to monitor the latest conditions on the nor'easter. A live look at one of the areas feeling the impacts, Plymouth, Massachusetts.
The big dogs, the old dogs, the deaf, blind, the different. Subaru presents the underdogs. These shelter dogs still love unconditionally. They're just hoping to find their human who does too. To help, Subaru is establishing National Make a Dogs Day to ask you to please consider adopting an underdog or do something extra special for your dog.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. I have an annuity, but I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
Call to find out how to get a $5,000 cash advance for your structured settlement. That's $5,000 to use any way you like.
You get long-term payments, but you need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call J.G. Wentworth now for your $5,000. Offer is subject to meeting certain underwriting and transaction requirements. Call the number provided or visit 5000now.com for further details.
Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you or someone you love used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait. There may be time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-838-1016. That's 800-838-1016.
I hired the team at Bathfitter, and now I've got a bathtub that I love. They use the same high-quality materials that they use in luxury hotels, which is great. Except when my mom comes to visit, she thinks she's staying in a 5-star hotel.
Housekeeping!
Yes, Mom?
Sweetie, I could use some fresh towels.
From luxury hotels to homeowners, Bathfitter exceeds expectations, and we've got over 2 million satisfied customers to prove it. Call now or visit bathfitter.com for a free in-home consultation.
So how did this happen?
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Oh, get your birdseed ready, honey.
United Healthcare helps connect you to care whenever you need it.
So I'm not going to need stitches then?
No, just the antibiotic cream. Oh, watch out.
United Healthcare.
Mom, we're so glad you're feeling better. You gave us such a scare.
I know, honey. Me too. But I want you to know I'm at peace with my homegoing when my time is up. And did I also tell you that I got coverage for my funeral so you and your brother would not have to worry about expenses?
I didn't know you were saving money for your final expenses.
I haven't. I called the Open Care Senior Plan, and with one phone call, I was eligible for $30,000 for my funeral and final expenses.
The Open Care Senior Plan will pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam, and you can be approved with just one phone call. Your rates can never be increased, your benefits can never be decreased, and your coverage can never be canceled. Call the number on your screen now and see how final expense coverage can help you. There's no obligation. Call 800-994-9206. That's 800-994-9206.
Pushing your forecast even further with Emmy award-winning reporting.
This is the lowest level that you should be in.
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Weather Center Live. Wow, what a sight. A live look at Plymouth, Massachusetts right now. Of course, the area of low pressure off the coast and bringing the waves, the winds, the clouds, and the rain with it. So, wow, an incredible sight there, and it will be a sight we'll see for a couple of days. So are you trying to travel in the Northeast? Well, we certainly have some travel impacts. Take a look at some of these airport delays. 2,000 airport delays thus far. Cancellations, 330. So an awful lot of delays, especially out of Boston, that Cape Air Regional, New York, Kennedy, and Newark as well. None in Baltimore, but really where we're seeing this is into the Northeast. And why? Look at Boston. Right now we've got 81, gusting now to 35 miles per hour in Boston. LaGuardia gusting to 25 miles per hour. So all of this coming in off the coast. So impactful in Newark as well. So 75-minute delays, so over an hour for most of these places. Here's the area of low pressure. It's a few hundred miles southeast of the Cape, and with it, it's so impactful because it's not moving. And it will be really quite stationary for 24 hours. So with that, the rain continues, the winds continue, as does a really high surf. So high wind warning, you can see that for the Cape and Islands. Gale warnings up and down the entire coast almost, all the way from Rehoboth Beach through Atlantic City, all the way up through Boston, even into Portland. So from Maine to the mid-Atlantic. And here's a look at the gusts we're seeing. 40, 50 mile per hour gusts in Nantucket. That's really where they've been the strongest thus far, about 54 mile per hour gusts. Montauk, the east end of Long Island, 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts through tomorrow. And it's really tonight through tomorrow. And then finally, as we head into Saturday, you'll notice still gusty, but not to the extent. So it quickly kind of ebbs down. There's tomorrow still delays possible in the Northeast, and we're going to feel that and see that, especially tomorrow. But then next Sunday, we're going to certainly see much quieter conditions, but it's Saturday, that transitional day.
And in the meantime, we've got the other coast on alert for fire danger.
Incredible what's happening there.
It really is. We're talking about fire season underway here with the Santa Ana winds, several fires already burning, and plans to cut power to prevent new fires. Across the state, more than 10 million people are at risk from fires today. This is the Bryceburg fire, what you're looking at right now. This is burning near Yosemite National Park. At this point, the fire has destroyed 4,900 acres and is only a quarter contained. Now, energy companies across the state are shutting down their power plants to prevent them from starting new fires. And of course, that's created a whole new set of problems for people without power for extended periods of time. California outages right now are over 600,000. We've been as high as 1.5 million homes and businesses without power. Sonoma County has the most right now, 67,000. There's El Dorado County with 52,000 power outages right now. And the fire danger just extreme to the south critical in many areas, including much of Northern California, part of the Bay Area, and much of the Bay Area also in that elevated risk category as well. It's extreme here around LA, but that elevated risk goes all the way across California into portions of Arizona and even includes the Las Vegas area in Nevada. That elevated risk means that brush and grass fires can steadily spread. You get into the critical range, you're talking about fires starting easily and spreading rapidly. And then in the extreme range, fires are going to start quickly and spread furiously. Some fires may be unmanageable. And that's what we're facing here in some of these areas of Southern California. Now, here in Northern California, the wind gusts, not really much to speak of around San Francisco right now, but some of the areas in the higher elevations around the Bay Area have experienced 70-mile-per-hour winds and more. We've had gusts around the Sacramento area here this morning to 26 miles per hour, and we'll continue to see those winds on the increase here in many areas of Southern California as well. Those downsloping Santa Ana winds drying things out and heating things up and continuing to keep the fire problems alive. Although most wildfires are caused by human activity, the weather can add fuel to an already explosive situation. Meteorologist Carl Parker explains.
A rampant wildfire destroying everything in its path.
This entire mobile home park just flattened by the fire.
Temperature, wind, and moisture are a major part of a wildfire's life cycle. High temperatures help spark fires. Trees and underbrush receive radiant heat from the sun, drying out potential fuels. Warmer temperatures let the fuels ignite and burn faster. Wildfires rage in the afternoon when it's at its hottest and driest. Wind has the biggest effect on wildfires and is the most unpredictable. Winds dry out the trees and brush and push the fire at rapid rates in various directions. Interestingly, fires can create their own vortices known as fire whirls or firenadoes.
Whoa, look at that.
Moisture can be both good and bad. Heavy rain well before a forest fire leads to additional growth and more potential fuel. But rain linked with humidity also plays a role. High humidity and heavy rain helping reduce the fire threat, but low humidity and dry conditions are a recipe for disaster.
It's just hell on earth.
Now, the nor'easter slamming New England today. Plans to hang around.
All right, what that all means for your weekend, coming right up.
Winter Storm Aubrey has certainly come to the Mile High City. I'm Justin Michaels in Denver, Colorado, where we're seeing sleet, we're seeing some freezing rain, we're seeing snow, and we're seeing temperatures in the mid-20s. Talk about a temperature swing over the last 24 hours. We'll talk about all of it coming up.
Sensitive skin? Cetaphil Moisturizing Lotion is a daily defense that protects against dryness before it starts, with fast-absorbing, continuous hydration. Cetaphil skin is healthy skin.
Today, millions of Americans just like you are coping with serious medical conditions from falls and other complications. These medical conditions force many people out of their homes because they can't get up their own stairs.
We were wondering whether we would have to move our bedroom downstairs and just live in half a house.
We just couldn't stay here if we didn't have it.
Acorn Stair Lifts has the perfect solution. Just don't fall. Don't worry about struggling up and down the stairs or living in one floor of your home. We became America's #1 stairlift company by providing affordable solutions for hundreds of thousands of people just like you.
Acorn Stairlifts has been helping people stay in their homes for over 20 years, and they would be honored to help you too. If you've got a serious medical condition, climbing these stairs is almost like climbing Mount Everest. Luckily, with Acorn Stairlifts, you won't have to worry about that.
An Acorn Stairlift has a padded seat and backrest, folds up for easy access to the stairway, has 5 safety sensors, and even works if you lose power. We will install your stairlift directly to the staircase. There's no need for special construction, and we won't leave until you're completely comfortable using your new Acorn Stairlift.
Look, if you're uncertain about staying in your own home, or you have an older parent who's having a hard time on their stairs, you owe it to yourself to call the number on your screen right now.
This is where we want to spend the rest of our life, and the Acorn Stairlift makes this totally possible.
Yes, I would recommend Acorn Stairlift.
Don't wait until it's too late. remove the risk of falling on the stairs. Call now for your free information kit, stairlift buying guide, and no obligation quote from Acorn Stairlifts. Call 1-800-913-3612 or visit acornstairlift.com.